Every synth sounds better with reverb, right? Just slather a big reverb on any old patch and suddenly you have this massive sound. Huge infinite ambient reverb soundscapes seem to be all the rage right now, but there's something to be said about a shorter, tighter reverb that can actually sit in a mix and doesn't need minute-long trails to sound big. Today, I'll be looking at a reverb pedal that recalls the vibe of old-school spring reverb tanks while maintaining the flexibility of modern digital effects. And fine, if you just have to have longer tails, it can do that too. I'm Donald Jordan for Bloom Music, and this is the Earthquaker Devices Ghost Echo. The Ghost Echo manages a very lush sound from a very streamlined set of controls. Compared to the usual suspects like the Big Sky and Eventide Space, the Ghost Echo's controls can feel limited, but the range of sound and the usability it achieves with just 3 knobs is impressive. Sitting top right amongst the knob triad is the depth control, which controls the mix of your dry tone and the reverb. The knob will go full dry, but only goes up to about 50-50 on the wet end, so as seems to be the trend with guitar pedals, cannot be used as a send effect. That being said, the range of the knob is nice and linear, so it's easy to dial in very subtle depth settings with ease. It has those magic zones where you don't really notice it when it's there, but desperately want it back when it's bypassed. That transparency and oneness is where lesser reverbs fail, where your dry signal and the reverb sound like 2 different entities just kind of stacked on top of each other. But here, the reverb becomes part of your sound, embraces it. It's excellent. Top left is the attack knob, which is really your pre-delay. It doesn't go all the way to 0, so you always get a slap back even at the shortest setting. It ranges from 30 milliseconds to about 150 milliseconds. And you can use it to add a rhythmic quality to plucky sequences, much like you would with a delay. Finally, the dwell knob controls the decay and character of the reverb. It kind of sounds like there's a delay line mixed in with the reverb, with an increase in repeats as you crank the dwell. This keeps the reverb singing longer as the delay repeats build and feedback. The behavior of the dwell is highly dependent on the input level. It's fairly subtle at the lower levels, but with a hot signal in the highest dwell settings, you'll get a ringing oscillation that hangs out beyond the tail of the reverb, a bit clangorous, almost like an overdriven spring. Overall, the character of the reverb is warm, with a very gentle smearing in the upper frequencies that prevents the sound from being too bright or sharp. What impresses me most about this pedal is its ability to make your synth patch sound huge without sounding artificial. This is especially apparent on pads, where it just takes the sound to a whole nother level. This is a mono effect, but I was curious to know what it would sound like in stereo, so I double-tracked it, and that is a beautiful sound. If you really want a stereo effect, you could get 2 of these and still spend less than you would on the popular flagship reverbs of other brands. You won't have anywhere near the flexibility or versatility, but you'll have a pretty unique sound. Beauty and simplicity is the name of the game with the Ghost Echo. I couldn't blame someone for turning their nose up at this pedal with its paltry 3 knobs. But it would be a shame to pass on this effect based on its looks, instead of focusing on its character. This pedal can make your synth sound big and alive without the effect sounding artificial or disconnected. For that reason, the Ghost Echo is currently one of my favorite character reverbs for synth. If you'd like to hear more of the Ghost Echo on synths with no talking, click on the Sounds Only video link. If you enjoyed this content and want to see more synth and audio production related content in the future, please like and subscribe.